Hey everybody, this is James with the Soundboard team here with lovely Jen Peterson from Denver. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey guys.
So Jen, right before we hit record, I was surprised to hear you just started the business in less than a year.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what drew you to the business opportunity.
So I've been a Juice Plus product lover for 7 years, and been a big proponent, and I was kind of sharing it all the time with people anyway. So I had thought about the business side, but I hadn't really considered it as a really viable replacement for my corporate job. I've been in corporate finance for 10 years and have, by all definitions, a very good, stable job there, stable as the corporate world is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't really think this was a viable replacement for that until last summer. And then the St. Louis Fall Conference, I went and really caught a glimpse of the potential that's here. And more importantly, I caught kind of a vision of the purpose. The big thing that's been lacking from my corporate job is purpose and fulfillment. And like so many others, I discovered, this was not only realistic with potential benefits and income levels and more stability, right, than I have in the corporate world, but more control, but also just that I found it's so fulfilling to be helping people. And so it really opened my eyes to the opportunity. And yeah, last October I jumped in and there's no looking back. So
That's great. And so in that short amount of time, you're the first person that I've talked to in this interview series that is this new to the business. And so you're jumping in a period where social media is on the table. You're not coming out of having to share cassette tapes and, things like that with people in the past. So how has that helped you fast track your presence, I guess?
Yeah, I would say that it's so powerful. You hear the people that have been around for 20 years talking about how they were limited, right, to the number of calls they could make each day or the number of people they could get in front of each day. And while you can work as hard as you can, the ability to just mass communicate has been really powerful, because I've been very intentional about branding my online presence and putting out a consistent message and trying to do all that. And so it's been really surprising. I've had people come up to me in just 6 months and say things like, "Oh yeah, we know you're doing that health thing. We know you're doing that health." And I get so many people that I've never interacted with, beyond the fact that we're friends or connected on social media. We've never interacted. We've never had a conversation about it. They've never even liked a post that I've put up, but they're watching and they're seeing it. And so I very much set out that if I was going to do this, I wanted to be a resource, a healthy living resource. I'm not a trainer or a doctor or anything like that where I have, qualifications put behind my name. And so I knew that I needed to create kind of a brand that was seen as healthy living, of living it out and providing value to people. So I wanted to intentionally create that. And I've had over and over again, I've noticed on social media, people will make a comment that they've seen that they know that, and they already assimilate me with that. And it's been, like I said, coming from a corporate finance job, there's no reason for them to do that other than social media.
Well, that's something that we talk a lot about, and I know you've been joining our trainings that we've been doing for Mitra's team. But one of the things we talk about is it's so important to have that brand awareness of yourself. And I love it that you said sometimes people comment and like the post, and sometimes they don't, but they notice. So how have you, or what's your experience been with conversations that get started on social, but get taken offline into real life? Has that been something that's occurred for you?
Yeah, I would say that I've never closed a sale exclusively within social media. So all about just generating the interest there. One of the other gals who I'm sure you've come across before, Kristen Helmers, calls it intentionally stalking. So it's social media is just so powerful because people want to share their lives and put it out there. And I have a relatively small network still of only about 600 people on Facebook and building a few hundred people on Instagram. But I still am able to reach out to people that I've touched years ago. And, they're having kids now and their kids are getting sick. And so I can intervene and say, hey, it's been so great watching you on social media. And I see that the kids are getting sick and everything. I'm doing this health stuff. Could I talk to you about this? And I wouldn't say that that's a skill I'm still developing of using those to transition offline. But anytime, and I have had absolutely successful customers come exclusively from social media that I would not have had contact with right now. For me to call them up on the phone right now would be really weird because we haven't talked in years. But to contact them in response to a message they put out seems totally natural and they're totally open to it. So it's that doorway that opens up where I can use it to reignite a conversation, and it seems less aggressive. They're more open, more receptive. And I've absolutely been able to take that offline then and say, let me give you a call and let's talk about it, and pique the interest on social media and then carry it over into an offline conversation and a sale.
So what do you say to the person who is either new to the business or they've been in the business a while and they're wrapping their head around social media and they say, well, I've been posting for a month or two and nobody's asked to buy anything, so I think I'm just going to not worry about that. What's your encouragement to them?
I would say it's multiple, right? You need to be intentional about what you're posting, and that doesn't mean spamming your product because no one wants to see that. In fact, I've unfollowed people, specifically, we all have, that just spam their product all day long. So again, it's about what you're posting, of drawing people in. And then to me, in the beginning phase of this business in general, but social media in particular, I feel like you put in it's all about being consistent. Consistency and sticking with it. And you put in a lot of legwork right now that you may not necessarily see the rewards now, but it's about building momentum. And there's so many different arenas where you see kind of the hockey stick on a graph, right? Where you're just plugging, and then all of a sudden it takes off. And I think for me, that's kind of how this fits in, where the first few months, no one was talking to me, no one was asking me about it. But as they consistently see it coming across, and then it's not just a momentary thing that I'm doing, or I'm not, here today, gone tomorrow type thing. When it's day in, day out consistency, you're in front of them. We've talked about on the training calls, building your scores so that you're being presented more, because that consistency pays off in that not everyone's seeing everything every time you post it. So maybe you're posting for 2 months, but only 15% of your network has even seen it. So you can't get discouraged by the fact that after 2 months, no one's contacting you trying to buy something yet. It's all about creating that brand and creating that consistent image that's put out there to draw people in, and the opportunities start coming. And that's where, you start partnering with people, and then you get exposed to their networks, and it's just this web that kind of grows. So it's really about laying the framework without immediate sale results, although I think some of that can come, but really having that long-term vision of that I'm building a brand, I'm going to be consistent day in and day out. And like I said, I have people come up to me all the time and they say, oh yeah, I saw you're doing that thing. And I had no idea they were watching. So, but that consistency was key to that happening.
Well, and you said the other important piece of it, which is you're also listening and paying attention to people in your own network and asking those questions and being there. So you're practicing what we've been preaching, which is to have a friend on social. You got to be a good friend. So kudos to you for putting that into place. Well, how has Soundboard helped with all of this?
So, as you know, I had originally tried the Soundboard app back in, I think it was like November timeframe, after St. Louis it came out. And at first I didn't really think it was going to be that beneficial. I thought, with some of the news articles that were listing and the links that were out there, it was stuff, total honesty, I would say it's stuff that I put in my Apple feed, right? And say, I'm going to follow these topics and I'll get the same pull. The thing that really drew me back in and where I'm really seeing value is through the consistency. It does take a lot of time even to do that. And the more that I'm engaging on social media, the less time I have to go search for articles. So that is the time saving aspect is there. Like everything's really consistent. But the way you guys have been intentionally promoting Juice Plus, the strategies we're using, like the Shred 10, that was the first thing. Sorry, kids. That was the first thing that really said, I may need to look at this again. Because the way you guys are creating the ability to text Shred 10 specific day by day encouragement, as I'm using the Shred 10 as a real platform to build my business, being able to just pull a day one image or a day two video or all that saved me so much time from going and trying to categorize it and look for it and search for it. And I've seen over the last 6 months, 9 months now, but how you guys are intentionally continuing to narrow the focus. I wouldn't say narrow the focus, but be more specific about things that are not just health related, but that really appeal to the Juice Plus vision.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been important because there's a lot of stuff out there on health and bodybuilding or fitness or whatever, but not all of it is the same paradigm that we work in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to promote whey protein shakes, or I'm not going to go eat that type of stuff. So something that, how you guys have cultivated articles and resources that just dovetail right into the Shred 10 or the month's health thing, that it's constantly turning over and it's new stuff, and it reinforces the message that I'm trying to send, has been really helpful. And so so about, I think it's only been a couple of weeks, I jumped back in
Mm-hmm.
and said I'm going to give it another try through this. I decided to do it at the same time as the June Shred that we did, and it was super helpful. I mean, those times when I was in the middle of something else and I didn't have time to go find the Shred image or
Mm-hmm.
something up, I could just I could go straight into the Soundboard website and on my phone on the app page and pull that day 3 image, text it to, all my people that are shredding, and just kind of blast it out real quick. I haven't embraced the Twitter side, but Twitter I'm still not embraced entirely all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So still feeling that one out. But for the other platforms, it's been, and texting really, I like that ease of use and the constant turnover in material has been really good because it's not stale, it's new, and it's stuff I would be going and searching for, but it's all in one place.
Have you benefited from the content that you've been able to post to Instagram as well? Have you used that feature yet?
I'm trying to remember if I did recently.
Just as far as using some of those, Project Healthy-ish images or things like that.
In fact, I did one for Men's Health Month.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't have even known it was Men's Health Month if I didn't see it through you guys.
Yeah.
So yes, it has benefited. Instagram, since a lot of them are articles, well, you got all the images too. The images are great because there's that place where I'm always trying to find the images to use on Instagram,
right?
Share for Facebook, and juggling all those. So yeah, it's been helpful for Instagram and Facebook as well, of just being able to put out just random stuff. And I'm building, I've got a business page on Instagram as well as my personal page. And I've got the business page on Facebook, which after our last training, I'm kind of now.
Yeah.
But then my personal page on Facebook. So it's kind of trying to send a consistent image, but not the exact same thing on all of them. So having a wealth of resources has been really helpful.
Well, that is certainly, one of the reasons we built the thing was because we're trying to meet that need of, hey, I know I need to be doing this, but I don't have time. And so glad to hear that it's helping with ongoing customer care as well as finding those new people to interact with. So, Jen, I so appreciate your time and taking the time to put your kiddos down for a nap and have a conversation with us. I hope they stay down and you can get a little time to yourself this afternoon.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it very much and look forward to seeing you in Indianapolis, if not before.
Yeah, thank you, James. And I'm so grateful for the training and everything you guys have put out there. It's been really helpful and very beneficial. So
excellent. Okay, well, have a great day.
Thanks. See you later.